morning, Ospreys. Today is Friday, February 17, 2023. It is day 5 for specials.
The weather today will be cloudy and cool.
For lunch today, we will have stuffed crust pizza or fish nuggets. Now it's time for the morning meeting.
It's Friday, yay! Have an amazing weekend with your friends and family.
Today we are going to learn about the dog side of the story in 8 class plus 1 squirrel divided by 1 dog equals chaos. I wonder if you can guess who the dog's owner is. Listen and enjoy.
Good morning, Ospreys. So we have 2 chapters left of 8 class pets plus 1 squirrel divided by 1 dog equals chaos. And where we left off last week, Miss Flott and Miss Adams did a wonderful job playing the geckos, and they taught everybody in the room how to call 911. And the principal showed up, and the police showed up, and they captured all the animals. So this the chapter we're going to learn about today is Cuddles. And if you didn't already know or guess it, it's the principal's dog. So the dog that's been running around the school is actually the principal's dog, which is crazy. Master lives right next door to the school he owns, so I get to see him a lot. Sometimes he brings me to meet the children there. This would be a perfect place to live, except for that nasty squirrel, Twitch. Twitch acts like he owns the yard. He eats the seeds Master puts out for the birds. He jumps from tree to tree just out of reach and calls down to me that people like squirrels better than they like dogs. He says that's why Master ties me to a long rope leash when I'm in the yard. He says that's why Master puts me on a short chain leash when we have to go for a walk. No leash for me, nuh-uh, Twitch brags. He runs back and forth just beyond where the leash stretches, too. He says, ha, your master doesn't make me wear a collar and leash to keep me in one place. He must not trust you, Cuddles. Twitch seems to wait for me to be watching before he'll climb into the garbage can at the edge of the playground. Oh, Cuddles, he'll say, there's a wonderful, tasty garbage in here today. Here's a French fry and a half of a bologna sandwich and some macaroni and cheese. I can't remember, do you like macaroni and cheese, Cuddles? So he's kind of picking on the dog, isn't he? Sometimes the only way to avoid Twitch is to go to sleep. That's what I was doing when Twitch ran right over my nose. There's Cuddles on his leash. Yow! That hurt! So if you remember, at the beginning of the story, Twitch was running after that bird that was chasing him or running away, and Twitch ran over the dog's nose. So this is the part that we're learning about. Yow, that hurt! I just knew he did it on purpose, and I went running after him. I was so mad that I ran so fast and that the rope leash broke. I kept on running, pulling that long rope with me. An owl was chasing Twitch too. I don't know what Twitch did to get her mad, but I saw Twitch was heading for the school. The man who works for Master, cleaning and repairing the building, had hung a big banner over the door that said, "Welcome," because Master had invited special guests to come the next day. The man had left the door open while he was putting his ladder back in his truck. "Don't you dare go into Master's school," I shouted at Twitch. Guess what? He ignored me. And he went as though he owned the place, just the way he acts when he owns the yard. The owl knew school was off limits. "He's all yours," she said, winging away. I was in the right, but the trouble was all the pets took Twitch's side. So he's talking about how he went from room to room and all the pets took Twitch's side. From room to room, I went chasing Twitch. A few things got knocked down or spilled or broken, but it was all Twitch's fault. Those pets all work together, even animals that shouldn't work together. Finally, they knocked a big box on top of me. It was dark in there. I wasn't sure if that snake had been trapped inside with me or not because the pine shaving kind of smelled like him. He didn't look like the kind of snake who bites, but you can't trust snakes. I hunkered down and sat quiet. I could hear the pets laughing out in the hall and having a good time together. It was like a party. The squirrel was telling jokes, mostly to do with me. And the hamster and the parrot were telling everyone about how their names came from books and that they were all acting like it was a big deal. And the rabbit was saying that they needed to get out and get together more often, and they had to figure out a way for the squirrel to join them too. She asked the rat if he could open all the cages again the next day. So remember, the rat gets out every once in a while because he has opposable fingers. He can move all his fingers, and he does the latch. And the rat said yes, in between carrying on about something or other to do with Cinderella. And the turtle said that they could all work on an art project together. And the geckos were saying they knew how to make a working volcano. And did anyone want to see? Even the fish were saying something. I don't know what. It was too bubbly for me to understand. I wasn't hearing the snake, which was part of the reason I suspected he was under the box with me. But I had just decided I needed to get out from under there, snake or no snake, when suddenly there were sirens and people came rushing in, shouting, "This is the police!" I heard the pets scatter, and then someone lifted the box off of me. No snake, but I saw something worse. The person who had lifted the box was Master. "Cuddles, Cuddles, what have you done?" he asked. "Bad dog, bad dog." I tried to tell him about the squirrel and about what pets were planning, but Master has trouble understanding more than the simplest things I say. He usually gets, "I'm hungry and I want to play and I got to go poop or pee." But that's about it. So he obviously had no idea what I was saying there in the school. He had just taken a hold of my collar when the other people ran in the room. Some had black hats and shiny badges, and some had red helmets and boots and a hose. "Is there a thief?" shouted one of the men. "Is there disorderly conduct?" shouted another of the men. "Is there fire in the walls?" shouted a third. And the fourth asked, "Do you need us to knock a hole in the wall?" as he raised a sharp axe. "No," Master cried. "No, no, no." He sounded upset. Upset means danger. Any dog knows that. I lunged forward and barked at the man with the axe, barking, "Back, back, back." Do you think they understand him saying back, back, back? Master held onto my collar. "Cuddles," he ordered, "sit." I sat because that's what well-behaved dogs do. I kept on growling to warn the man that he'd better be on his best behavior too. The man backed up with the axe so quickly, he knocked into the man with the hose. The man with the hose backed up so quickly, he tripped over the box that had covered me. He fell and must have done something to the hose because suddenly water shot out of it. Whoosh! The water hit Master so hard it knocked him down on his bottom. So the picture shows the fireman with the hose. "Stop!" Master spluttered. The man with the hose turned the stream of water away from Master. Whoosh! It caught one of the shiny badged men, causing him to land on his bottom. I bit at the stream of water to tell it that it was bad. The man with the hose ran away still holding the hose. So that squirted at the desks instead of at me. So that it squirted at the desk instead of at the people, but for some reason Master didn't thank me for saving him. Once they got the water turned off, Master locked me in his office, while he and the men with badges and the men with the helmets rounded up the pets. It took a long time. Master was still wet when he came to get me. He was also tired and grumpy. He took a hold of my collar and held onto it all the way out of the school, across the schoolyard, across the backyard, and into the house, with his shoes going squish, squish, squish. "Cuddles," Master said, "I don't know what got into you. Tomorrow was supposed to be a special day." I hung my head, I hung my tail. Master crouched down beside me and looked deep into my eyes. He said, "I bet you have a long story to tell." Then he said, "And I wish you could tell me." He fluffed my ears. "I still love you," he said. I wagged my tail and licked his face to tell him I loved him too. Being a dog is the best thing in the world. So next week, we're going to end this book with Twitch, and we're going to hear his side of the story and what happens at the end. But I want you to think about this. How do you think Cuddles feels about his mess? There was a couple of things going on. Did he think it was his fault? Whose fault did he think it was? And did you figure out who the owner of Cuddles is? I'm sure you did after that chapter. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.
Do you want to hear a joke?
Sure.
How do you scare a panda?
I don't know.
With some bamboo!
JPS kids soar higher. We are safe, on task, always responsible and respectful. Have a great weekend.